Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today. Live Music Nation podcast. I'm your host, Jake Gill. Today we're with Chris Schreier, Monroe County Fair. Chris, thanks for joining us.
How's it going, Jake?
Good, good. Chris, give us a little background on you. Where did you grow up as a youngster? And let's talk a little bit about your career and then your association with the fair.
Well, I grew up in Norwalk, Wisconsin, which is about 18 miles south of where our fairgrounds is in Toma, Wisconsin. My start in the fair there, we were John Deere dealers, so we had an exhibit at the fair. And so we started that way. Dad got on the fair board way back in the late 60s and early 70s with our display there. We had motorcycle display too with our motorcycle shop. So I started there and then started working with the work crew. I guess all the duties from setup to tear down, cleaning out barns, security, all that kind of stuff. And then as a tractor pull was added to the fair, tractor truck pull, I started coordinating all our track workers and pit workers and things like that, and got invited to be on the fair board back in about 98.
So just
So
one more volunteer position for you, huh?
yes, yeah. It's been a good ride. I mean, a lot of years, early 70s till now, being involved with the whole thing. I mean, you see a lot of things, you do a lot of things.
For sure. Chris, describe your county fair for those of us who haven't been there. If we walk on the campus, what are we going to see, smell, hear, and feel?
A lot of your typical fair items,
Okay.
but Monroe County Fair is a nice fair. We've grown over the years. We've replaced a lot of the buildings, so you're looking at a newer fairgrounds per se compared to a lot of the other ones. But you come in there, you're going to see the rides right away. All the vendors, you're going to smell the food. You're walking right by the barn, so you're going to see all the championship cattle that are down there, livestock, 4-H, FFA, open class exhibits, along with some grandstand shows.
Perfect. Perfect. Talk about your 4-H and your ag side. Um, as a youth, as a youngster, I mean, you talk about your family being with the John Deere dealership. Your ties to that ag community are extremely close, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And they still are. Our dealership we sold years ago, but we stayed really close because of the fair, and we're in a rural community. We're in a town of 10,000 people.
Yeah.
The county's mostly rural yet. So we have a great participation, and the kids keep bringing animals. You know, the farming industry has changed over the years. We're losing some of our dairy farms to the bigger ones, along with some of the other activities. But we have great mentors out there that are keeping the kids involved with the animal projects. And there's kids that grow up in the cities or out in the rural that don't have farms that are going and buying these animals, these project animals, and bringing them to the fair and learning all about what farming really is and was about.
Yeah, that's a great point. We talked to a number of fairs who actually have seen an influx from the urban side of youngsters actually getting involved. Some of that the result of COVID and starting projects, some families raising their own food and sources of meat again, and so that's always exciting to see. Chris, for you, what's that satisfying moment? I know that being a volunteer and doing all the work that you do as a member of the fair board and the rest of your board as well, but what is that moment for you when you just take that deep breath and you're like, we're doing something good here. It's worth it all. What are those moments for you?
I would say once everything is set up, the fair is going, the judging shows are going on, and you're seeing, you walk the midway at night at whatever 8 o'clock at night when the crowds are coming in, the shows are starting, the food is rolling, and you walk down through the barns and you see the kids are relaxing after showing their cattle and everything all day, and they're hanging their ribbons or awards above their stalls and things like that, and the smiles on their faces. I think that's the most rewarding is what the kids are getting out of it and what they're taking home from it.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Chris, what's your most well attended event throughout the week?
Throughout the week, rodeo night,
Okay.
which is Friday night. That Friday night has become one of the bigger nights there. And our separate event is the truck and tractor pull that separated itself from the fair because it got so big. We run that a month earlier.
That's where it was coming in at. Yeah.
Yeah, and that Friday night has become really big too. So So the Friday nights are probably the biggest with the rodeo. Most of your judging is done by then. People are more relaxed. They want to get out, get the food, go to the beer tent where the bands are playing, things like that.
What was it that made the tractor pull such a big draw for you that you actually had to separate it from the fair?
Blame that on my dad, I guess. We were involved with the dealership, so we had a tractor we were pulling, so we brought that to our fair. Along with that, it became one of the largest national events in the world, starting in the early mid-60s, 70s, I mean. And as we went around the nation pulling, we just invited people to our fair and to our pull. As it got bigger, it just outgrew that weekend of the fair, so we separated it. Still, the Monroe County Egg Society puts it on as we do the fair. So it all blends together and works well to help each other bring crowds to both of them.
Yep. Probably keeps your fairgrounds up as well.
Yes. A lot of money putting back in, upkeep and things like that. The city owns our ground, so we work well with the city to take care of it. I mean, we share all that expenses.
That's great. Chris, I'm a live music guy. I'm an entertainment guy. So I always ask these two questions. And the first is this one. What's your favorite concert you've ever been to your whole life?
Oh, it probably wasn't at our fairgrounds.
Right. It could be anywhere. Yeah.
I mean, go back to my younger days, Def Leppard.
Okay.
Sorry, wasn't country, but that's what we went to years ago.
I
they
was
put
there.
on a great show.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
When you see a drummer playing like he did with one arm,
Yep.
you never see that again anyplace else.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so final question would be dead or alive. You could bring one act to the Monroe County Fair. Money's not an issue. Who would you bring?
Wow, we had so many great acts back in the 70s and 80s, the country and western. We had a lot of big names. But I'm still going to go back to kind of the rock and roll roots, Beatles. If you could get the Beatles to get back together again,
sure.
that would be great. Otherwise, nowadays, I've always hung on to AC/DC.
Oh, yeah. No, that would be great.
If you could bring
those very well attended events, the whole state would be there for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Chris, how do people find out more about the Monroe County Fair and the tractor pull, the events that the ag societies have going on this year? How do they find out that information?
MonroeCountyFair.com.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
We'll get you there. Just look us up. Just Google us. You'll find us. You go Google Toma Tractor Pull. That'll bring up our website too, and then that'll link you to our fair also.
That's perfect. Chris Schreier, thanks for being on with us today. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of